Unity Church of El Cajon welcomes you. Thank you for joining us for Transformational Tuesday. So sit back, relax, and let's get started.
Dear God, thank you for this wonderful time with these wonderful ladies. We are here to talk and share, and also share with those people who will watch this video. We are here to share our awareness, our truth, our experiences, and we are so grateful for all that is done in us, through us, and as us. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. I want to talk today about, I found this book, and it was something that in high school, our English teacher had us memorize prayers or poems from the prophet. And I didn't understand anything for the most part that we were talking about at the time. But when I listen to it now, it's beautiful. And we had to memorize it. And it's like we had to stand up in front of the class and recite them. And I thought, well, this is kind of a waste. So today I want to share it with you because it's a beautiful poem. If you do not know, Kahilil Gibran lived until 1931. He was a Lebanese spiritual teacher. One of his poems is Speak to Us of Joy and Sorrow. Then a woman said, Speak to us of joy and sorrow. And he answered, Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the self same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how can it be? The deeper the sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is it not the cup that holds your wine, the very cup that was burned in a potter's oven? And it is not the lute that soothes your spirit, the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which gives you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and one sits alone with you at your board, remember the other is asleep on your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at a standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you, weigh his gold and silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise or fall. And I just thought I would share that with you today because I like the image of the talking about gold and silver, but also the image of we have to have both in order to have joy. We have to have sorrow. We have to be emptied to be filled with joy. And I think this says it the best. Any thoughts?
I'll share. I went yesterday to San Pedro here, which is the village where the indigenous orphans live that have kidney failure. And it's such joy to go and see these beautiful children, so well mannered. These are children raising children. There are a few women in the villages. If there are men, they go away during the week to work and they come back on the weekends and they drink. There's alcohol issues. They abuse their children and their wives. And these children are always joyous. They're beautiful. They're happy. They are so well behaved. They stand in line and wait for their food. There's no fighting. They support each other. 9-year-olds are taking care of 2-year-olds.
Mm.
And yet I left yesterday with such frustration and a heavy heart, because this is the second time I've gone to the village. And now I can see, in attempting to try to talk to some of them, and I don't speak Spanish well, but I attempted, that some of them have birth defects. They can't speak, they can hear. Some have deformed faces, not many, but some. And it can either be from the inbreeding or the kidney failure that they inherit, um, or other things that we're not even aware of. But it made me so sad that this is their life experience. This is a first world country in Mexico, but this is third world in these villages where they live in homes with no front doors and dirt floors. And most of them are orphans that don't even live in a home. They live on the streets. So the joy and the sorrow was happening at the same time. I'm joyous that maybe I can bring Rotary's funding here to help with a community center. And I'm bringing other people up to San Pedro to see that might want to volunteer to help with a resale store, start a resale store for them, or advertising through Facebook about their needs. But in my heart, it was like, oh, I want to do more. I need to do more. And I kept praying about it. And the answer I would get is, be patient. It's coming. It's coming. You're doing enough. And so, to speak to what you're saying, experiencing the joy and the sorrow in the same day, in the same event, and how do I come to balance with that? And I keep having to go inward to source and know I'm doing enough and be patient. It's in the process on the invisible, and I'm trusting it's going to ground here in the right timing or something better. And I'm so grateful I have this education, this spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, I'd be a basket case, or I'd quit going. I just couldn't look at it. You know, I wouldn't want to see the pain and the suffering. But now I can see there's a purpose, so that we who have time and talent and money can step up and share our love and our gifts with others. So thank you for that topic.
Before I share, I have a quick question for you, Rev Deb. You've talked about this before. Your orphans with kidney failure, is that because of the water supply is compromised?
We have 22 volcanoes around the lake that are dormant on the top, but at the bottom they're active and they heat all of our hot springs.
Okay.
But the sulfurs and the toxins leach into their water. They don't have water filtration. So the community center we want to build with a filtration system for their water is the goal right now.
Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't clear on that. Okay, so thank you for indulging me. And on the topic of pain and sorrow, this is really an interesting one, Nancy, and I'm going to come from, a different direction. Do you remember the first time your heart was broken, that you thought you had found true love and your forever path and nothing could ever, and then it did? And there's a part of us that says, I will never, ever love again, right? I mean, I think it's a rite of passage. I think we all go through that. I think if we did not go through that, we would never learn to truly love. I think that by having our little hearts torn apart and just we realize how much love can cost. And when we give our hearts, our love, our commitment again, we give consciously knowing what the gift we give is. And I honestly believe that those heartbreaks really are a gift, not at the moment, believe me, I know, but as we grow, I think our ability to love, to give ourselves, to accept another human being reaches an entirely new level that we probably would not have been able to grasp, to feel, to have without those heartbreaks. If love is all perfect and fun, it's not the commitment, it's not the strength that we have because of going through the other side. So yes, I think we have sorrow and we have joy, but I believe that they balance one another. The more joy we have had in a relationship, the more sorrow we feel when we lose it. And the more sorrow we feel, the more we give to our next relationship. So I think that cycle, you know, some's more fun than others, is a part of how we evolve in consciousness, in heart, and in maturity. So those are my thoughts.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Nancy, for reading that. Speak to us of joy and sorrow. As you were reading it, I was picturing it when you got to the headboard and the footboard. I was picturing lying between those and being held and supported by both of those. It's a lot in line with what a counselor told me, probably, oh gosh, 1999. So it's been 22 years since she told me the pain of what I was going through was because there was so much love in what I was losing, you know, and I didn't before that relate those two together. That it's true that there are sorrows, and that's, you know, totally in line with being supported, that there was so much joy in there too. So I can only I've used this with several people that I've been working with, you know, and they talk about their grieving and their loss, and I remind them that that's because they loved so deeply, that there was so much joy and commitment in there, and that's going to show up in other ways. One of the ladies I was talking to the other day was grieving, and I reminded her that she was grieving not only the loss of what she had, but the loss of what she'd always hoped she had, because the relationship that she had thought she had was not the relationship she wanted. She wanted to be her complete self, and this person would not accept who she really was. And so I was just like, so you kind of got a double whammy here, because you had this joy when they were there, but now that they're not, you can never settle that, you know, with them physically. However, I reassured her that she still has time to settle this in the ethers of life, because energy only shifts. It can't, it is, energy is, and it can't be destroyed. It only is. It's one way or it's another way. So she still has a chance to settle that, and she seemed to be reassured. But yes, I concur with everything you guys have said, and it's tough when you break that heart and you think you're never going to make it out again, and then you realize that that was only the beginning, that was the tip, and that you had to know that. It's like, I guess it's kind of like us being New Thought students. If we don't know, we don't know, you know. Then when we start learning, then we realize, oh, I didn't know, and then we grow, and then we grow. So joining those two together just is a part of life as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for sharing that with us, Nancy, and everybody else. So unless somebody else has something else to say, I guess I will pray us out.
Thank you.
Let's take a breath in and release as we say thank you. Thank you for this topic. Thank you for those joining us. And we know that joy and sorrow and love and sorrow all are a part of our path. And we know that we have people on our path to help guide us through that. We know that we have love on our path, and there may be sorrow in it. And that's part of the deepness and the depth of our love, is that we have the capacity to have sorrow as well. And we are grateful for these emotions. God, we are grateful for everything that you bring to us and through us, to learn, to love, to cry, to share, and to be and learn from this human experience as our spiritual selves. We are so grateful to you. Thank you, thank you. Amen. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and please subscribe, like our page, leave some comments. We love hearing from you guys. Your comments mean a lot to us, and we appreciate them, and we appreciate you keep coming back and listening, and enjoy your cup of coffee that you're having right now, and hope if you join us tomorrow, it'll be something totally different. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our chat. Be sure to comment, like, and share with others. Blessings.